Hey, Rich, it's your boy Zach Richardson up here in Tally right now, and it's really good to bring this message to the audience to let them really get a rich feel for what's going on in America. So this particular show that we're looking to bring to the people will provide the world with the opportunity to listen to men who are really concerned about the future of this universe as well as the kids that live in the universe. And I am Zach Richardson, one of the hosts of the show, and that's my boy Richard Jacobs, the other host. And we're going to
Yes,
get into
sir.
three topics, and we're looking so forward to the audience members just blasting us with any question or concerns you have after you listen to our show. We're prepared. So go ahead, Rich. How's your day going, sir?
Man, my day is going wonderful, and it's so good to be here with you, with the co-pilot to this plane. As I'm using the driving a regular car for the plane. It's just unorthodox, but is that how you gonna do?
Yeah,
That's how I'm riding my plane.
what kind of plane you? I'm
Right.
like this, bro. You can have all that being cool. Listen, I'm gonna do my plane like this. I'm gonna push the button and go like this. Cause it's nowadays they
So
fly themselves, bro. So I ain't trying to
there
fly
you
nothing.
go.
I'm gonna go ahead and preset it and let AI do what AI does well.
So you telling me that when I go to get my pilot license, I can just push a button? My test should be easy there. You telling me that to get a license to be a pilot, it's easier than I'm thinking.
It's very expensive.
Okay, that's
It's a
where it starts.
it's about your pockets. You can range
That's where
in
it starts.
between 40 and 80,000, depends on
Okay.
the piece of equipment that you're using. And then some places provide simulators. So you go through the simulation first before you even dare touch a plane. But in our growing economy and how transportation industry is working now, literally they have planes that can fly themselves.
Wow.
Literally. It just depends on how deep your pockets are, sir.
I heard that. That's beautiful. And I guess it coincides with one of your, I wouldn't say famous phrase, but one of your phrases you throw at me a lot, which is money is the answer. Now, what's your question? So
Absolutely.
there you go. If you got that bread
You
all
can pretty
day,
much get what you need. Yeah.
licenses. And I love the fact I'm here talking about having a pilot license as I'm thinking about how you told me once before I have my pilot license, I have my driver's license, and I have my boating license. That way I have 3 points of exit. I love that, man.
and
That
and I
that's
and
safe.
I have my passport and I
That's
have
work.
my permit, my gun permit.
There you
So
go.
we're in the sunshine state where you must stand your ground.
Right.
So anyway, if I need to go ahead and shoot, get on a plane, leave the country. Let me stop. But
I was like, where's it going with this?
but yeah, I have those five essential tools available to me as a law-abiding citizen. And I always try to encourage young men and women to take it to another level, just in case something pop off. You need to always be prepared. It's best to have those things and not need them than to need those things and not have them. That is my philosophy. You can never know too much, but you always have to understand the knowing. Knowing is important. Yeah.
Beautiful. Man, I'm over here thinking about how gratitude is so important. And I think that's gonna be I know I don't think, and that's one thing I want to bring up. Let's stop using the word I think. Let's just go ahead and say believe. I believe the
Uh,
topic of this discussion is going to be gratitude day by day. We talked earlier off recording, and something you were saying just made me think about how we look so far ahead that it starts to compress us, and it starts leading to depression if you're not careful. And all I could think about for that was gratitude.
yeah.
By day gratitude in the moment, just being thankful for this current day, this
Mhm.
current moment, because the tomorrows and the futuristic conversation and thought process could sometimes um, drive us in a direction that we're not really ready to embark in as far as mental capacity. And daily gratitude.
I love that. I love the daily gratitude because I always start my day off with saying today is a good day for a good day,
Mm,
and then like you were saying about the whole thing about thinking, I think, well, I can get into a whole chapter, but I'll say that for a different show. I
okay.
subscribe to a knowing rather than even a belief. I know that gratitude is the key word for the day. To know something is a little bit further than just believing. And for me to know where I'm headed when it comes to gratitude, I always begin my day with that saying, today is a good day for a good day. What I know to be true in this industry is that a lot of times we all wake up and we do the same exact thing, but no one ever bring us together because we always have a wedge dividing us. So if we can begin to talk about more likeness rather than differences, we will have a greater gratitude, which starts with your attitude. So for an
Yeah.
example, I woke up this morning. I said, I'm laying in my bed, and who were you talking to this morning? Your bed. Well, in my bed, I was talking to self.
Okay.
And I'm learning how to have gratitude to talk positively to myself rather than being
Yeah.
negative. And then once I had that talk with self saying today is a good day for a good day, my bladder kicked in and said, hey man, you better get up. And so I responded to the way my body felt. So I had the gratitude of saying, oh, I can step off of my bed, touch the solid ground, go to the restroom, and the whole time I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
And that's true
Self-talk.
gratitude. Yeah, because you do it too. But some people start their day off by being negative. Oh, I got to go to work today. Oh, I got to do this. No, you get to go
Ooh,
to work today.
you get to.
Get
Ooh,
to wake up.
perspective.
Perspective. So you're not saying I got to. Like I tell my people, oh, I get to go to work. I love it. I get to love my kids. It ain't I got to love my kids. It's
Mm,
I got to take my kids to school. No, I get to take my kids to school. And so
wow.
it's the mindset and which is so appreciative as we embark upon the word gratitude. Yeah.
Man, I love it. And I'm just over here thinking about, let's layer it. Let's say I get to take my kid to school in a vehicle, in a car, back to vehicle, like, and if you are walking your kid to school, you get to do that, but it's
I
just,
get to walk.
that's wow. That's so deep. That's so
Because
powerful.
the gratitude and appreciation for the things that we have. And we always talk about what we don't have. But the ability to really appreciate the things that we have goes back to gratitude. It's
Yeah.
like oftentimes we're comparing ourselves with others. And it's not really comparing ourselves with others. We're comparing what we have versus what someone else has. But we take in consideration of what we have alike, like you have visual perspective or perceptions, you can see. It's like when I teach these kids compare and contrast. A lot of kids nowadays are not really being taught very efficaciously, effectively. So when they say compare, they're like, oh, you're dark skinned, Rich is a little bit lighter, your hat is turned forward, his hat turned backwards. No, comparison is simply of all the things that are alike. Contrast is say for things that are different. So it's about language. Once our kids understand that there's no such thing as a comparative, that is a difference between two things. Compare is always how things are alike.
Yeah.
And contrast is things are different. So in being grateful for what I have, I can say we both can see, we both are able to speak, we're both breathing, we both appear to be healthy. And that's a sense of gratitude because I'm comparing what we have the same.
I like what you did there, buddy. You went on the subject of compare and contrast to, like, elaborate more on gratitude. That's because they're both in they're both are important in this take on gratitude, because like you mentioned, you're comparing. So now you can say, I have what you have, but it's a slightly little bit different. So I can be thankful for that. Or perspective, you can be mad at that. And then contrast where something is night and day, totally different, where I'm so thankful to not be like whatever that is. So I love that, man. I wake up, back to your point of waking up, I wake up thanking God. That's something that I'm doing more of now. I'm waking up thanking God for today, man. And then now I can set the momentum to go into what I have and what I'm currently doing to be thankful for. But yeah, so a exercise that I'm trying to get back into, so I keep it real, is actually taking the time to write out 10 things as I got my marker out. I have a whiteboard desk, and I'm over here like I'm hanging with Zach, man. I need to probably take some notes, give us some cues. Let me go ahead and the whiteboard king over there. Let me
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah,
down. But
yeah.
no, back to my point. You know, I would challenge us all, or challenge whomever is listening, that writing down 10 things you're thankful for um, every day is such a beautiful process. It starts to illuminate and lighten up the day. It just puts you in a better like pace. Your walk is different, your talk is different, and I noticed the difference from when I wasn't doing it and doing it. It's day and night. It's completely different, and it starts there. Like you said, gratitude goes to your attitude, which then, what's that phrase? Gratitude, attitude, and latitude.
Well, yeah, some says altitude.
Altitude. There you go.
Altitude.
Altitude. Yeah.
And it puts you in a good place. Um, yeah, I like the philosophy of writing things down.
Yes,
You
sir.
choose 10, I choose three.
Mm. Why
And
three, man?
I, I like
Why not?
three because it's the Trinity.
Okay.
The
Ooh, going
TRI,
there.
yeah, the TRI, which represents try, and it's also from a biblical perspective, is to just take it from the beginning, the middle, and the end. So for me,
Okay.
if I am being just very transparent, it gives me a sense of hope. So whenever I become despondent, despondent is beneath depression. Despondent is when something happened and I'm like, what's going on? And I have to sit down and have that self-talk. I thank myself for having the ability to be able to speak, the ability to work, and then the ability to just to take time out to discover who I am.
Yeah.
And I am gratitude goes back to, okay, I'm dyslexic, so I'm transparent. I've been diagnosed with dyslexia since the age of 8, and then I have a condition called autism. So I like to joke about my autism is my superpower is love, because one thing about those with autism and everyone I've ran into with autism, I'm comparing what we have an abundance amount of love. And that's just how it is. And I choose to love because I believe it balances out where we are in our society with so much hate.
Yeah.
And I want to be one that puts love back into the environment, rather than offer hate in the
Right.
environment. We have plenty of that, but we don't have enough love. So I'm just grateful for the Trinity, the three things that I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And I'm over here thinking about Rich talk, right?
Yeah.
Resourceful information creating hope. And it makes sense for
Say it again.
this
Say it
verse.
again. I missed that.
Yeah. Rich talk. Resourceful information creating hope, man. Creating hope, good brother.
And
And it
that's our show. That's
okay,
going
yeah,
to be our show because
that's it.
we're at a time now that there's a sense of hopelessness. And we have to bring positivity to the airways because you can watch the evening news or watch other podcasts, and it seems like some of them are uplifting, but for the most part, it is just a recap of negative energy that's being
Yeah,
circulated. And we don't want to be adding to a hopelessness mindset. We want to
right,
bring you what you can do, that a lot of times is don't cost you anything other than a little bit of time, and make it time for self. And that's what we want to be able to do. Everything that's going to bring love does not always cost. We at the top of the hour, we said money is the answer. Now, what's your question?
yeah,
So the value statement in that is that as a consumer and as a producer, we see what is happening all across the globe. And we're like, why are you doing that? And so when I came up with that term, a guy named Avery McKnight actually taught me that. It was more or less like, okay, start with the premise that it's money behind this, and then try to discover that it's not money, and watch you find yourself back saying it was money.
Yeah, because when you first told me about that phrase, I secretly was like, why is he making this about money? Come on, man. Why everybody like to make stuff about money? Like, why you got a phrase like that? But the more I started applying it to different situations, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Reluctantly, I'm like, he got a point.
Take money out the equation, and what you left with?
What you left
You
with?
left nothing.
In
You're
this
left,
day and time, because we're not trading apples, we're not trading oranges. It's not like I'm like, hey man, I want to buy this clothing item. I have a bunch of apples that you can use and you can eat. Will you take this for some new J's? For some new, yeah, we're not trading fruit to get other
yeah.
items. So I totally get it.
Homeless man has a sign up. He don't mind someone throw him a sandwich or two, but he prefer your money. The employer and the employee wants to make profits to pay the people. When you go pay your bills, it's money. When you go to church, cha-cha-cha-ching, it's money involved. So we cannot lose sight of that. I can go out publicly and have fun and be very grateful if I don't have money. I can't.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the God that I know to be true, and even we go biblical with Genesis, and there were certain things that Adam and Eve was told not to do, and things happen. But what God did tell them is that you have to work the garden. Right. So I already recognize that my power is predicated on work over time. And if I put work in over a period of time, I'm going to fortunately generate revenue, which goes back to money. And then I can go and buy more things and do it for others or keep things for myself, but it requires work over time, which generates money. That's the number one thing I believe that we were taught early on about the Bible. Work. You got to work.
Work. You got to work. And, I don't even know why we went on this topic, but it's good that we did because that's a resource at the end of the day. It's a resource, and it's just something that it's a tool, simple enough. It's a resource. It's a tool which coincides with resourceful information creating hope. So using that resource to get yourself in a better education system, to get yourself I don't know. I just stuck with education because, with you being the academic doctor, I just feel like you can elaborate on that more about, I don't know why my mind's taking me there, how important it is with money and education. Like, what's that combination about? What's your thoughts on that?
I love that you transitioned to that particular talking point, because I try to get my kids to understand, my students, I'm going to try not to say kids a lot, but my students to understand the importance of a education, not just being schooled. One of the factors is that if you do exceedingly well, you're less likely to fall into an impoverished state of mindset. Okay, number one. You also can earn scholarships. And I think scholarships is important because you earned it. So it's not like free money. You earned the right for someone to assist you on your next level. So you need to have a sense of gratitude, but you have to put the work in, because if you are going to school and someone is paying for your education through taxpayers' dollars, whether it's charter or public, you have to understand that you're not just in that classroom, that seat, with no one paying for it. It's being paid for by taxpayers. And we normally refer to it as FTEs, full-time enrollment, FTE dollars, which that is the contribution made by the federal and the state to make sure we're schooling our kids. I'm very mixed when you talk about educating versus schooling. And that's one of the things that I try to tell people, that be mindful of the difference of schooling versus being educated. Because at the end of the day, a kid that has been schooled may finish school with nothing, A kid who attended a schoolhouse who was educated leaves with everything. And
Yeah.
so money would be generated when you are profoundly educated in the right manner on your money and how to utilize your money, but it requires one to be educated. Before, you could make an excuse that I couldn't learn about plumbing, welding, or about a career, when nowadays there's so much information out there that if you really want to know something, you may not get that college degree, but it does not prevent you from being educated on the subject, on how to get it done. You may not get that certification, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn how to fix my own car. I may not be a certified mechanic, but if I want to go and learn how to change my brake pads or put oil or change a tire or look at my computer, I can. There's just so much out there to kind of help me, guide me in this process if I really want to be grateful for the information and then take the time out to research it. So this generation now has an advantage where we couldn't readily, my generation, I'm a 70s baby, did not have all this. We had to go to the library and card catalog or find an uncle down the street who's fixing on a carburetor. So we learned from those guys. But now everything is at a, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. So tell the next generation, be grateful for what you have at your fingertips. You got to be a keeper of something that's good. And you have to be by the small things that you have. Like, how do we really test people? If you cannot be appreciative of where you are, how do I trust to give you something bigger than what you want? There was a show that I was listening to with the late Miles Monroe, and it was talking about our blessings that's often bestowed upon us, and that we have to go through trials and these tribulations where God would test you with the smallest of items and see how do you respond to that. You know, you talk, you want to run your own company, but you don't even go to work on time. So I gave you a job, don't even go to work on time. So how is it that you don't go to work on time? You're not doing what you're supposed to do, but you want something greater than that. So God is like, you didn't show me that you were taking care of the smallest of thee. And now you want to be blessed with something larger. And for your own protection, oftentimes your prayers don't come true for bigger because you have not mastered the small things. You have not mastered gratitude that comes along with the small things in life. So you can never get to the next level. And that's just how it is. You have to be able to master the small. Even those people in a society, you say, well, how did he or she get this and get that? Well, the reality is, even they may not be as talented, but I can tell you they're disciplined. When they say they want something, they went and got it. They appreciate where they were, but they see further along down the line and they pursued it. And I find that to be problematic for some people when you talk about you want something, but you're not willing to put the work in. You got to put the work in. You got to be disciplined. You got to be grateful to be able to go to the next level.
That's it. It's always a fight, man. It's always a fight. It's always effort. Motion causes motion. You know, as much as sometimes our body wants us to just chill and sit still and lay down and rest, you know, that's the state of rest. You know, if you sit or lay down for 10 days, and when you how do you think your body's gonna feel when you get up? Your body might can't even get
gonna be sluggish. You may not be able to get up. So
exactly.
A body and they say a body and a mind that's in motion stays in motion. And that's because it's the energy transfer. And I had just wrote on the board the other day the word emotions. And I said, what would happen if I take the E out? Then it's motion.
Wow.
See, but what if I put the E in it? That's the energy. So you're making these movements in a way towards your goal. If you take out all the negative energy that is preventing you from reaching your next level. So you got to be mindful of your E's that you connect with your emotions. Are you got negative energy, negative emotions, or are you putting a positive E, which brings about positive emotions that put things into effect? And that's being appreciative of the small things, and then God bless you with bigger things. And that's just how it is.
I love that. I love the way you put that. You know, and back to that fight and the good fight, you know, that's what we're doing daily, is fighting a good fight, because for some reason this world that we living in, it's just full of evil, man. it's just full of negativity. So why wouldn't you want to fight for the greater good, fight for peace, fight for love, fight for harmony? You know, it's and back to that whole sitting still. If you just sit still and not try to fight for good and fight for positivity, since the frequency is so low in this earth that we live in this world that we know of, it's just inevitable for you to just start being downloaded with negativity if you
Yeah.
don't fight that good fight, man. So I encourage, and what fights that good fight? Starting
Gratitude.
with gratitude. You know
Gratitude.
what I'm
And
saying?
the
Starting
thing
with
is, sometimes I tell people, one thing I've learned to help me out recently is I don't watch TV like I used to. I have, I haven't totally weaned myself off social media, which I don't want to do because I think there's things I can still learn, but I can wean myself off of those sites that bring into that negative energy, where there's nothing really positive coming from the
yeah,
viewership other than just depressive news after depressive news. I just totally block it out. When I get home now, I'd rather cozy up with a nice book and read and don't even turn on the evening news. I want to participate like I've been taught before I go to bed. I have positive thoughts. And when I'm slumbering, my dreams are always proficient because whatever I think about before going to bed, I wake up thinking about. And so if I'm watching the news and I'm going to bed to the negative news, I've noticed where my body was just like couldn't
yeah,
rest. But if I have positivity and I'm
yeah.
grateful for what I got today, I was, oh God, just thank you for what I was able to accomplish. This person I ran into, I know it's to lift up your kingdom. So I'm so blessed, and having that evening, cutoff, then going to bed to negative news about Ukraine versus, Russia and da da da. No, I'm not doing that no more. So I watch what I take in as well.
Man,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, man. I love the fact that you said the cutoff, because that's exactly what I'm trying to get more into, is like having that cutoff at the end of the night of just intaking whatever. Because you do get in those places during your day where you just intake, you're not even thinking about all the different information you're taking in. You're just taking in whatever feels good in the moment, not realizing that it's it's adding to a stressful next day. You know, it might not be piling up for the current moment, current day, but like you said earlier, when you wake up, you're like, "Whoa, why am I feeling like this?" Oh, it's because I went to bed
Yeah.
watching God knows what. You know,
Watching
but
that.
God does know.
I tell my students, I say, listen, give yourself at least an hour, hour and a half away from your school, your television time. So before you go to bed, your electronic devices, if you can, about an hour and a half, put it down, don't touch it. And then when you get up in the morning, you don't touch it unless your phone wakes you up. But the key is don't touch it. Don't go check your emails into all that depressive stuff, or don't go to bed with it. So don't wake up to it, don't go to bed to it. And then get
Right.
your day started with that energy. Oh, today is a good day for a good day. And then once you read negativeness, you repeat it. Today is still a good day for a good day. I
That's
am going
it.
to be gracious. I'm going to have gratitude for the day. I'm going to keep this party rolling. And I think that significantly changed my life, and it's changing my life for the better because I'm mindful of what I watch or listen to before bed. And I'm very, very mindful of what I start reading before I even get myself together. I need to make sure I don't take a bath. I got my clothes on. I'm ready to go before I
Yeah.
started reading that stuff. I just because that will change how you dress, that change how you speak, because somebody news may put you down in a depressive state. Nope, I'm not going to do that today. I'm so grateful. I got a chance to see another day. So allow myself to prepare without all that energy that may not be positive. And then once I receive it, I have the right mindset because I took care of me first.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Gratitude. Take care of me first.
Take care
Yeah.
of you. Take care of you. There's a story about this young boy with his father, and the young boy asks, "Hey, Dad, how can how can I get my world together? Like, I feel like life is all over the place." So the father gave this young boy a puzzle. He said, put this puzzle together, right? A puzzle that the father thought that would take the kid like a week. Um, and the story holds that the kid came back really fast with the complete puzzle, and the dad was like, man, how did you put this together? What's this all about? And the kid responded, Dad, I noticed once I put this person together, everything else around it started coming together.
Hmm.
So that's the key there, man. Like to your point, it's like putting the pieces of your life together first, so everything else around you will start putting itself in its place. You know,
Coming together once you got
coming
yourself together.
together once
Yeah.
you got yourself together, man. And I love that we're going all over
But it's not even
different
a point of
directions.
going. It's not even going all over. We're doing a great
Okay,
job of staying on track about gratefulness and the mere
yeah,
fact that being grateful, and it's multiple arenas that you can show grace in, whether it's in your home, whether before you go to bed, your workplace, and your relationships. So people need to know that gratefulness extends all over. It's not just centralized for a group of people with money, without money. Even those without can be grateful. Ones with can be grateful. There
yeah,
are people who are struggling with the fact of what does that
yeah,
look like.
right,
And we at the top of the hour, we kept talking about how some folks are comparing what they have versus what somebody else have. But you never ask the question, how did they get that stuff? If
yeah,
it compromised their integrity just to have something, their peace is being compromised. So what we want to do is to be grateful for what we have, knowing that we put our best foot forward.
yeah,
We utilize our work habits and we looked at our power. And then so we put the work and the time, we built our power, and then we acquired a good. And if it makes you feel good about the method in which you went about to get it, then you go for it. But you must never forget the gratefulness in it. That's it. Be grateful for the lesson learned. Even in death, it's something to learn from it. It's always an opportunity to find gratefulness and grace in any situation if you want to find it. But you
yes,
got to find
sir.
it. Yeah, you got to
That's
find it.
real. That's a real deal. And I'm over here thinking about how we talked about money being a resource, right? But let's keep in mind that a lot of these resources are non-tangible,
Yeah.
and gratitude is a resource that can be used to create hope.
Yeah.
And you like I did that right there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like it.
No,
It's kind of smooth there, young fella. It's kind of smooth there. I like that. It's
but
very rich. That was a very rich moment right there. And
yes, yes, yes,
I
no,
agree. It's a very rich moment because you have to do understand that I can walk outside right now and be grateful for the air against my face. Melanin, get my vitamin D with the sun is around 12:13 Eastern Standard Time this particular day, and the beautiful part about it is that the sun is out. I can be grateful for the sun because last week it was raining. Early yesterday it was raining, but so now the sun is out. So it didn't cost me anything to walk downstairs to feel the air against my face, to hear the squirrels and the birds running around having a good time. So it lets me know that I'm alive. It makes me feel appreciative because I'm taking the smallest, which is actually great things into consideration. The tree
yeah,
that's in front of my office door. I mean, that tree has many jobs to offer me shade, the carbon to break down the carbon dioxide. That tree is so amazing. My dog like to lean his leg against it, he like release himself against the
yeah.
tree. But it's just so much that that particular tree offered. So I'm grateful for that tree. Even when
Amen.
these branches, I'm grateful for that tree.
Hey, man, what you're saying is like bringing. It's making me it's making me think about what's it to a man or a woman to have all the money in the world but not have their mind.
Yeah, yeah. And that's we're gonna
If
hold that for
if
another show because the way I really mean that, because when you think about that, what you just said, it takes us down a conversation that needs to be talked about. And that subject is one vacating one's own life. And we refer to that in the United States as suicide. Um, and I've witnessed and identified with some very wealthy people in my line of work where they're having a good time. They seem to be safe place. And they were not, as I would say, somewhat not grateful for what they had. It wasn't enough, or they lost something. And they decided to kill themselves. And it makes us think about celebrities, the great Robin Williams, um,
Mm,
very comedic
man,
and Kate Spade, and
Gone too soon.
you know, these people who we look up to, who seem like they have everything, but the reality they don't have everything.
Wow.
So the point of this show is to talk about being grateful for what you do have, because I can tell you thousands of stories of people who had everything and they turned to drugs and alcohol and destroyed their marriages because something was still missing. And I know one of the things that I've discovered was missing is your faith, your ability to love God. And I know we're going to get people on the show who are non-religious, and that's okay. Well, this is not a religious program based upon that, but it's a very faithful program. Since we use the word gratitude, we're being very faithful. And I tell my friends, I say, look, guys, you don't have to believe in God if you don't want to. That's on you. But I subscribe to a different philosophy. It's best to have God and not need him than to need God and not have him.
Mm.
It's the bottom
Wait,
line.
say that again, Zach. Say that. Drop that again for me, bro.
So I tell people
You said
often,
it is
it's best to have God in my life and not need him.
not
Get
needed.
at that point where things just feel so overwhelming and I just want to leave myself that I don't have them and I need them. And that's the knowing of the word. I know the word, so I can be resourceful and pull that out. So I challenge my brothers and sisters who just don't want to believe, non-believers, to consider it. And if you don't, go back to what you were doing, but at least consider to be grateful for the fact that God does exist. And go from there. And if you don't need him, you're okay. You didn't lose nothing by studying God's word. You didn't lose anything by taking 30 minutes out a day and read your Bible and looking at the commentary. You didn't lose anything. The reality is, but what comes the day when you need them and you don't have them? What do you do? Yeah. And that's just grace.
That's it.
Grace.
Man, this was phenomenal. This was a nice, rich talk. I had as you were talking, I had an illustration that went through my head, and that was imagine being in a ditch, a 10 feet ditch, and there was a rope that you were only able to climb by like each how about this? Each momentum of climbing that rope was only built in by the form of writing or saying gratification, your gratitude. So in other words, that's what gratitude does. It pulls you out of a ditch. It is like a imaginary rope that is helping you to get yourself out of the ditch, to get yourself out of the dump when you're down in the dumps, they say. And it's a fundamental key essential to life, I believe.
Yeah.
That gratitude, whether you're rich or poor, will change and shift your mood and sustain the good mood that you once built up and prolongs your life.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
I appreciate
nice
that.
medicine.
I appreciate it. And I challenge, I like the fact that we did not go into a definition of what it is. I challenge the listeners, define your gratitude, define it yourself, look it up, research it. We're not here to make you think and believe what we believe. We're here just to offer that rich talk to you and to challenge you to go out and discover your gratitude in life or whatever subject we bring to the air. We're excited about letting you be the leader of your own life. We can be the conduit which provide rich knowledge and some understanding, and occasionally I might drop some wisdom. But for you, you take this knowledge and you apply for better understanding and you develop your own wisdom so it sticks. It sticks with you, and then you can move throughout your life and say, hey, I appreciate the lessons I learned from the rich talks. The rich talk. Very
rich talk.
Yeah.
Resourceful information creating hope. Because at
Yes.
the end of the day, we need something to lean on. We need hope.
Yes.
Create
Today
that good
is a good
energy.
day for a good day. Today is a good day for a good day. And that's it.
Man, I'm a up your ante. Today is a great day for a great night.
But either way you take it, as long as you start out with today, I don't,
Yeah,
because I work in the field of education, I'm very mindful of words.
yeah,
And we will be bringing nice words to the table and making sure that we're utilizing them correctly. I never really like to say good morning.
yeah.
Um, I
Oh,
just,
oh, don't go there, man. Hey, you
I
just
just
took that,
yeah, yeah. But
dude,
I'm
dude,
just saying
dude.
we're not doing that. So we know everybody know what a day is, and so we're gonna say today is a good day for a good day always.
Nah, while you there, bro, it's so funny you bring that up because I literally try to stay away from good morning now,
Yeah.
and to where it makes so much sense. Like this is my philosophy. This is my thought process.
Go
We'll get
ahead.
out of here on that. Is that I believe good morning, and I could be wrong. This is rich theology, rich philosophy. That there once was a time where there was so much mourning because Christ died, AD, right after death,
Mhm.
or whomever died. That the frequent phrase was good morning. They just mourned, right? Everyone just finished mourning, so we woke up. Oh, that was good morning, man. That was some good morning. And like here we go, fast forward 2000 or whatever years later. What are we mourning?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good day. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, for me, from the commonly, what we call commonly misused words, you have to mourn and then mourning, you know what I'm saying? So even in that, even the spelling is different, but you have
The
to really
spelling's
understand,
different.
yeah, like, oh, good morning, like versus a new break of day. And then you're wishing well. But if you speak it and you don't spell it, I don't know which one you're talking about because
Nope.
both of them sound the same. So to avoid mass confusion, I just don't even fool with it. Good day.
Man, that was so brilliant put,
Good day.
man. That's so brilliantly put.
Good day.
That it's
Because once you put in the atmosphere, your words, with part of the concept of what we're doing with Rich Talks is that making your words count. The life is all
yeah,
about what you say out your mouth and then what
right.
you put in your mouth. You
Yeah.
you have to be mindful every day of what you're saying out your mouth. I've been very guilty of that at times. I'm trying, and I am desperately changing the way I speak.
Yeah.
I treat my words like heartbeats. I can never bring them back, and I can never get my heartbeats back. So I'm
Man,
grateful for what I've had. Yes.
I'm here to drop off air game on y'all. So Zach drops a lot of while we're not recording, while we're not doing this, Zach be dropping them jewels, baby. And
Yeah.
something he just said in this moment made me think about what stayed with me. And he said to me one day was, "Hey, Rich, every heartbeat matters." And at first when he said, it, I'm just like, okay, that's cool. That's a cool phrase. But literally, this is my first time telling you that every day after that moment you said that, I'm hearing it. I'm feeling it. Every heartbeat matters. I'm living it. I'm like, when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm just gonna just drag through the day, I think about every heartbeat matters and like, okay, what do I need to do now? What how proactive can I be? Now my new phrase is internally saying to myself is, what's the most valuable use of my time? What's the most valuable use of my time? And just really taking in back to gratitude the moment really taking in that I should be thankful that I'm even here right now, that I should be thankful that I'm still breathing, that I can even say
Mhm.
each heartbeat matters.
Mhm.
And dude, like with that, and we'll get that another day, but with me seeing headed to work unfortunate events and hearing the phrase of every heartbeat matters, that just hit home now a little bit
Yeah.
harder than it did before.
It has meaning
Each.
to it. When I read the book about keeping time, it was very interesting. I was like, "Oh, what does it mean? What do you like keeping time?" And it got
Yeah.
into the acknowledgement of our heartbeats, and they refer to our heartbeat as currency. And the thing was like the frequency of the heart going up and down, up and down. What's the worst thing that you ever want to hear in the hospital? Beep.
Ooh.
There's no frequency. That means that either someone in the room next to you is about to die, or you about to. If that's the last thing you heard was that beeping noise, you better hope the nurse heard it, and then send some compression shocks to your chest and be grateful for the boom, boom, and kickstart my heart, because again, every heartbeat counts. When they stop or when they too low, somebody's in there busting your chest open from a cardiovascular standpoint to see how we're going to jumpstart this bad boy. And so your heartbeat comes from your heart. And so you have to really, really begin to be appreciative that each one of those little babies, they really adds up. Yeah.
You don't know how's it go. You don't know how good it is until it's gone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then once it's gone, you won't even know how good it was because you're gone too.
Wait a minute.
when you don't ever know how good it is until it's gone. So when that heartbeat is gone, you don't know where it's at anyway because you're gone too. You have no memory recollection of the fact that it no longer worked. Only that short time before it just shut you down and they pronounce you. So it's like, yeah, you'll never get that chance. You'll never get that chance.
Say that for that scenario, more so thinking like, oh, you lost a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever case.
I keep telling you, I have autism and general and dyslexia. I let people know that we'll go off subject or if something happened, but I try to bring it back in. But my autism, it is what it is, and I'm grateful for my autism now. At first, I hate it. It's difficult. I will never lie to you, being 50 plus years old with autism, but I embrace it now. I wasn't grateful for it for many years. I don't think I found grace for my autism until I turned like 50. But that's another story within itself. But the beautiful part about it, I am now showing gratitude.
Yeah,
I'm grateful to have endured all the pains with this condition, but still survived it, and still thriving in the midst of everything that has happened. Yeah.
So it's almost safe to say that gratitude has levels, and it actually takes some trials and some turbulence and some tribulation to actually even be thankful for something sometimes. Because how will we even have that emotion to be grateful and gratitude if we didn't
experience challenges? Yeah. Nicely put out where you said that. It does something to us. We had a storm. I mean, we always have storms in Florida, right? And everybody just, the storm coming through.
And or like whatever.
It's nothing like coming through the storm. Even when you lost some things.
Right.
You take inventory of what you lost to file a claim. Right. And then you have to relive how'd you get it. And then you go get some more of it. If you can't take the gratitude of surviving because you realize the comparison of what someone else lost versus what you really lost. And then you get a chance to understand that in the process, you may have lost electricity and some property, but you never lost your power. Never. You ever think about that? Oh man, our power out. And I'm like, no, bro, your electricity is out. Your power comes from your gratuity. I'm still powerful because God has showed me grace. And so I can thank him for what he's given me. That's the power of my gratitude. My electricity is going to come back on eventually, but I have the power to remove myself from an environment, to be appreciative and thankful for all the things that remain after the storm has left. And that's a relationship storm, losing a job storm, a death of a loved one, or a natural disaster. I still retain my power.
Wow.
Retain my power.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Man, there's so much I want to say after that, but I'm going to put a pin in that and say there's power in gratitude.
Always.
Power and gratitude, man.
And what's the formula for power? What is the formula for power? It is simply work over time.
Time. Sheesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm Rich Jacobs.
And I'm Richardson.
And this is Rich. Hey, Zach. I'm sorry. I cut you off, bro.
The academic doctor, like the Ohio State, the academic doctor. And I just thank all the listeners. And if we decided to make it for viewers, I'm just so appreciative of having this time, and I'm full of gratitude that it was laid on our heart to produce a show like this, because you never know what people need. You know, you hear all these subtopics of this and that, but we're going to be very authentic, very
Yeah.
vulnerable. None of this is pre-rehearsed,
No,
and we're going to grow it. And as we get better materials and stuff to come about, we're going to do some amazing things for the public listener and for our own personal growth. It's going to grow. So I pray that the listeners grow with us and they tell a friend, and that's all I can ask for.
I love it, Zach, and you're so right about that. And to add on to it, this is coming just straight from the heart, straight from the dome, straight from the current feelings and emotions that we're dealing with. You know, like you mentioned before, we don't want to rehearse this and just make it feel like scripted. You know, so all we could do is be true to us, be true to ourselves rather, and then allow the tribe around us to home in and tap in and just be a part of the movement, be a part of the growth, and be a part of the information that's creating hope.
Yeah. So let's close it out with a prayer. I'll go ahead and do it this time, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we just
Okay.
thank you for all the listeners, and we thank you for the gratitude that we have received thus far. And so we want to remind the listeners and the viewers that every day is a good day for a good day, and remind them of their power that they possess, and that's gained from work over time. And your son, Christ's name, we, that's a pronoun, pray, that's a verb. Amen.
Amen.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
we
In the
out.
word Suksuma. Peace.
Good stuff, brother. That's good.
Yes, sir.